Hey, Grace, thank you very much for your time. And it's really exciting to reconnect with you. I remember it's almost 2 years back we connected.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Oh, my pleasure. I'm really happy to be here and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Fair enough. So, Grace, I know it's been more than 2 decades. You are working as a recruiter and helping a lot of candidates to get placed and working with a lot of employers, corporates across the globe and even the nationwide. Uh, so, I am always curious to understand, like, what motivates you to become a recruiter? What is that driving force behind it?
That's a great question. So it's an interesting story. So I've been doing recruiting for 22 years. So maybe 23 years ago, I was a young lady then, and I was making an effort to figure out where I wanted to be in my life. And I definitely knew that I wanted to take care of myself and be, financially independent and have the means to support myself. And I happened to be at a party one evening and I overheard two gentlemen talking about how one of their sisters made a placement and made this amount of money from that placement. And in that
Mhm.
moment I said, wow, if I can do that, then I can support myself. I won't have to
Mhm.
depend on anybody. And so I started the hunt for a recruiting position.
Okay.
So I started the hunt and I was hired by a healthcare financial staffing company.
Mhm.
And I started, working there. And I realized that I actually really enjoyed the recruiting and enjoyed working with people. So it really was no longer about just wanting to, be financially secure. I found out that it was a passion. And I was there for a little bit. And then within 18 months, I started my own recruiting firm. And here we are 22 years later. Yes.
And
So
if I say that, what is the top two skills you have which makes you such a successful recruiter in this industry?
my top skills is building relationships. And I guess what comes before building the relationships is being able to connect, with the person sitting in front of me or the person over the phone.
That's really like ignites me another question here. Since you connect with the people and looks very exciting, that very easy if I see it outsider, oh, connecting people is just talking, right? But I know it's not that way. It has a lot of challenges you face, and those challenges has trained you, given you a lot of learnings in that journey. Would you
Mhm.
like to share certain challenges?
That's a great question. So something that I've learned is, so I would have a resume in front of me and the resume looks perfect and the person sounds perfect, but there would be something inside of me telling me, you know what, this is not the right fit. So early on in my career I would disregard my intuition. And so that's something that I've learned, like even though I may not have an explanation why this is not a fit, but if I feel it and I know it intuitively, then I have to go with it. So that's been, I think, the biggest challenge.
Interesting. That's really cool.
It
But
is.
since I'm from a technology side, so I'm not from recruiting side, but do you think can technology help you to resolve certain these issues or these challenges and add a extra, like, it enhances your performance or your decision making practices?
I think something, that could be helpful is because we get so many resumes, so many people reaching out. If I had, a technology to help weed that out, to just, the right people will be in front of me, the right resumes, I think that would be really helpful and it would definitely save me time.
But if we have to set up a process, recruiting process in enterprise, so what do you feel? What is the complete successful recruiting process, which I classified, or that's the best recruiting practices or process in a company?
That's a big question. I mean, I'm from the old school. And
Mhm.
yes, technology has its place and it's extremely important and we need it. And we also, I feel like need to also combine it with some of, the original strategies, which
Okay.
goes back to relationship building. Yes, email is great. Yes, technology is great. What I would uh, continue to do in the recruiting process is speak to people.
Since you're a girl who connects people well, and that's what your whole lifelong experiences is, do you recall any experiences where you connect with a person and it actually worked very good? and that person has very good, and that you feel that's my reward as a recruiter. This person has made my day, and you
Oh,
still remember them.
oh, so many. That's why I'm launching, a podcast, because I've been inspired by all of, the incredible people I've sat down with to, interview over the last 22 years. So there's so many, but something that comes to mind was an executive assistant. She had many years of experience supporting high-level executives. The executive she supported retired, and then she went to another company. When she went to the other company, she had a really, devastating experience. It wasn't a good experience, and that really affected her confidence. So when she came to sit in front of me, she was had very low confidence and self-esteem, but I saw her as this incredible, executive assistant, incredible person. And I believed in her, and I saw in her what she couldn't, see in her in herself in that moment. And so I worked with her for a few weeks to help her build her confidence and show her, like, you're amazing. These are the skills you have. This is what you bring to the table. And within, a month, we ended up placing her in another high-level executive support position because she had regained her confidence. And now she's still there, and she's become actually a friend of mine.
I'm sure there's a lot of failures too, which I always call them, it's my defining moment. So if I fail somewhere, I'd make a learning from there and make sure that learning stays with me for a lifelong.
Yeah.
Do you recall any stories like that where it was a challenges, or you outside people may consider it as a failure, but for you, it's a bigger learning moments for you?
Well, I woke up January, 2nd, 2009 to come into the office, and my billing was almost zero. So it was really devastating. And I saw it as a failure, but the entire economy was in struggle. It wasn't just me. But I still felt like a failure. And the lesson I took from that was just you persevere, and you continue to get out there, build the relationships, stay positive, because things will definitely, turn around. So that taught me, no matter what, just continue to reach out, talk to people, take care of yourself, and things will come back.
And that's really remind me another point. Like, since you have seen 2009 downturn and even pandemic right now, last year, what do you feel like? What's the new belief you have generated inside you, which has, of course, you have shared already one thing, that yes, it's the challenges are hidden opportunities. But any other new beliefs that you felt that you came up in last 1 year?
Sure. I really believe that everything happens for us and not to us. And again, March 16th, when the shelter in place went into effect in, the city that I live in, same thing. The clients called and canceled the requisitions, let many of our staff go. And so in that moment, I had a choice. I can choose to feel like the victim. And, after 22 years now, my business is, going this way. Or I can choose to say, okay, this is happening for me. What's the hidden, opportunity? What are the hidden lessons? And how do I want to move forward? So the lesson for me the last year is, it's going to be okay.
Now, let me come to the, let us go to outside world. A lot of young people now want to join this industry as a recruiter, or they see themselves as a recruiter because they can connect to the people. They want to help this candidate community or recruiter community or employer community, that okay, they can want to do it. So what advice you give them to these fresh graduates or fresh people who want to join this industry?
Well, the top advice is it gets better. Because initially, getting into recruiting, it takes a little bit of time, and you have to plant your seeds. And planting the seeds means, building the relationships, connecting with your network. So definitely, be patient and give it time. And to run your own race, don't focus on what everyone else is doing. Run your own race and focus on yourself and what you're doing. And third is relationships.
And you told me like you are into training and mentoring process. Tell me a little bit more about that. What exactly is that?
So I have another side of the business, or another business, where I do success and transformational coaching. Coaching was a part of the staffing and recruiting that I really enjoyed, like coaching my candidates, our clients, my employees. So many of us stay stuck because we have blocks. So I help them, figure out what those blocks are so they can level up and, and move forward in their career or in their life.
Wonderful. And what if somebody want to connect with you for specifically for training purposes or coaching purposes? So how they can reach out to you?
They can find me at www.daretoachieve.com, and they can connect with me there, or they can just reach out to me at graceredman.com, and Redman is Redman.
Grace, anything else you want to tell to the world, especially for this COVID month? That's like recruiter as a warrior, and anything you want to share to the world?
If you have a dream, if you have a vision, just continue to move forward with it. Don't give up. And the most important, yes, relationships are important, but the most important relationship is a relationship with yourself. Then once you have that, then building the relationships and connecting with everyone else will be, that much easier. This is an amazing, incredible industry. And yes, it's going to continue to grow, with the technology, but the most important thing that I think is going to stay, consistent is the relationship piece.
Wonderful. Great, Grace. Thank you very much for all your time and all advice. And yes, even I can feel that goosebumps coming on and getting into that emotional stuff.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me today. And I wish you all a wonderful day.